When the time to death came near, father called his son Dhanpal and said, "Son, I do not have any wealth for you to inherit, but I have worked all my life with truth and honesty. So, I can only give you my blessings. I bless you and that you will live a happy life. Even dust will become gold with your touch." Son bowed his head and touched his father's feet. Father blessed him by placing his hand on his head and gave up his life. Now, all the responsibilities were on Dhanpal. He had to handle all the expenses of the house. So, he started his business on a small handcart. Slowly his business started growing and he opened a small shop. The business grew further. Now, Dhanpal was counted among the rich people of the city. Dhanpal always believed that it was all result of his father's blessings. Because his father never gave up his patience, faith, truth, and honesty. Therefore, all his success was the fruition of his father's blessings. Dhanpal would always say this again and again. One day his friend asked, "If your father had so much strength, then why did he suffer? Why didn't he use this to prosper himself?" Dhanpal replied, "I am not talking about the power of my father but talking about the power of his blessings." Many years passed. Dhanpal started doing business abroad. Wherever he did business, he would make a lot of profit. One day it came to his mind, "I only benefit. So should I try to experience loss once?" So he asked one of his friends and asked him about a business that can cause him a loss. The friend felt that Dhanpal had become proud of his success and money, so to remove his arrogance I should tell him a business that he will definitely suffer loss. He told him, "You buy cloves in India and load it in a ship and take it to sell in Zanzibar of Africa. Because Zanzibar is the land of cloves and from there cloves are bought in India and sold here at 10 to 12 times the price. If you buy cloves here in India and then sell it in Zanzibar, then you will definitely suffer loss." Dhanpal liked his idea and bought cloves in India, packed them and loaded them onto a ship, and reached Zanzibar Island. Zanzibar was ruled by Sultan. When Dhanpal was on his way to meet merchants of Zanzibar, he saw a person coming from the front with soldiers. He asked one of those soldiers, "Who is this?" Soldier replied, "This is the Sultan of Zanzibar." Seeing him in front, Sultan asked Dhanpal for an introduction. Dhanpal greeted him and said, "I am a trader from India and I have come here to do business." Sultan started talking to him. Dhanpal saw that soldiers were carrying big sieves instead of swords or guns. He was surprised to see this and politely asked Sultan, "Why are your soldiers carrying big sieves with them?" Sultan laughed and said, "Thing is, in the morning I had come for a walk on the beach and then one of my rings fell from my finger in the sand and I didn't notice it then. When I noticed that I lost the ring, I came back with soldiers carrying sieves to filter sand to find my ring." Dhanpal said, "Ring must be very expensive." Sultan said, "No. I have countless rings worth much more than that, but that ring is a mystic's blessing and I believe that my sultanate is so strong and happy with the blessings of that mystic. That's why for me that ring is invaluable." After saying this, Sultan asked, "What goods have you bought for trade?" Dhanpal replied, "Cloves." Sultan was surprised at his answer. He said, "This is the land of cloves and you came here to sell cloves. Who gave you such advice? Surely that someone must be your enemy. Because here you can buy a handful of cloves for a penny. Who will buy cloves from you? What will you earn?" Dhanpal said, "I have come to see whether I will be able to make a profit here or not. Because with my father's blessing, whatever business I have done till now, I only made a profit. So now I want to see whether his blessings will bear fruit here as well." Sultan asked, "Father's blessing? What does this mean?" Dhanpal said, "My father worked all his life with honesty and integrity but couldn't earn money. At the time of his death, he blessed me by taking God's name that even dust in your hand would turn into gold." While saying this, Dhanpal bent down and took a handful of sand from the ground and opened his fist in front of Sultan and dropped sand from between his fingers. Both Dhanpal and Sultan couldn't believe their eyes. It was Sultan's lost ring in his hand. Sultan was very pleased to see the ring and said, "God made your father's blessing true." Dhanpal replied, Same God makes blessings of a mystic true. Sultan was happy and said, I will give you whatever you ask for today. Dhanpal said, may you live for 100 years and take care of your people well. People live happily. Other than that I don't want anything. Listening to this, Sultan became more pleased and said, I will buy your all goods and will give you the price you ask for. Learning, this story teaches that if you have the blessings/elder, then no power in the world will allow you to be defeated anywhere. There is no other asset like blessings. Therefore, always respect your elders. This is the greatest service of God. If you have enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe. If you didn't, I still love you anyways.